Kayaking, the canoeing, and then swimming pools and waterfalls and beaches and exotic animals and fish pedicures and jumping out of hot air balloons and I can go see I can get a jacuzzi, I can do spa, and I'm only paying $2,000 for the whole week. But the reason why they do it is because the diaspora comes over here and say, y'all come to Ghana. It's so beautiful. Y'all gotta come over here, live your best life. And they have everybody coming, so they say, "Oh, we can do this. We can go up on these prices," because they know the locals is not paying no $1,200 a night, so it's not for them. It's for the ignorance, because ignorance is bliss. So that's what it's for. Okay.
It's an
so
experience.
Then you said, "All right, well, I'll just live out here. Your quality of life."
To me, it's an experience. Just as you go to Cancun and spend $2,000 for a week, the locals over there will not spend $2,000 for a week. You get me? So anyone with one brain cell would know that what she's saying does not even make any sense. Because it's the experience. It's a tourist attraction. Somebody put money into it to build that up, and that's the charge they want to charge for it. The same way somebody built all those, strips of malls and places in Cancun and those restaurants and tourist, places in Cancun that you go and spend a lot of dollars at just to enjoy for a week. So it's at the end of the day, it's up to you. If you want to spend that kind of money for something, then you spend it. If you don't want to, then you don't want to. Now I get it. There's not a lot of places in Ghana compared to the United States that you can go for entertainment. The U.S. has a vast number of places and things to do. Ghana is different, all right? When it even comes to like amusement parks, it's almost non-existent. There are places you can go to, but it's nowhere near the States. In the United States, you have every state has something that you can do, multiple things. In Ghana, you might have to move, drive a few hours to certain places to experience something else. But that's just the reality, of living in Ghana. And you have to know these things and be okay with it before you move, over there. So if you think you're going to bring America to Ghana or Cancun to Ghana, then you're mistaken because they're completely different. All right. And you don't go to Mexico, looking for the United States of America there, or Maryland, or Texas, or whatever the case might be. You go over there and experience what you experience in Cancun for what it is. All right. So, again, this is just her being her, I guess.
It's going to be down. First of all, the internet, trash. I cannot express how trashy the internet is. Now, let me tell you something. I've been here for 4 months, and I have not been able to upload a video. I have to send the video through iCloud and texting my daughter so she can send it while she's in America, while she's in Mexico. Because I can't upload videos. Because if I upload a video, it's going to take 4 days. After 4 days, it's going to tell me that it failed to upload. So my content is going downhill. Then on top of that,
all right, so let's address that real quick. The internet is not going to be like, what you experience in America. My wife and I both do content. She mostly does longer content than I do. Um, sometimes it'll take her 2 days to upload a video that's an hour and a half. In the United States, you probably do that in like 10 minutes. You know, and so it's different. Yes, it's definitely different. You need a lot of patience, a lot of planning, a lot of money to buy data and all that to be able to go through with your content creation. All right, so she is right, but I think she's over exaggerating too at the same time. It could also be where she's located. Maybe service is worse over there than where I am. So therefore, obviously she's gonna have a lot more problems. All right, but again, it depends where you end up at in Ghana. Somewhere you may not even have service, but it's the same everywhere you go, even in the United States. There are certain places you have no reception, no internet. You can't make phone calls, and there are places that is very good, very fast. So also the service that you pay for also plays a part in there. So a lot of this stuff. If you're really, if you go into a comment section, people are just going wild and yes, 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 yes. But those are the people that are in that crab effect. They want to pull things down without actually taking time to explain why things are the way they are and how you can improve or find ways around it. So um, yeah, internet is not going to be as fast as it is in America. But again, in America, some places it's not fast at all. You don't even get any service at all. So, you know, yeah.
Talking on the phone, reconnecting. I could be on the phone with the bank and I'm about to go ahead and close the deal, and the phone hang up, call failed. How can I even run and operate a business legitimately and professionally? There's no way. And the crazy part about it is the internet that I use is Starlink. I take it all around the world with me. Very, very good internet. Works perfectly. Here, trash. So if you're dealing with the internet issue, if you're dealing with the phone issues,
I mean, if it doesn't work in Ghana, clearly, Elon Musk needs to do something to increase the service in Ghana. Um, I don't think Starlink has anything to do with Ghana. If anything, it's just allowing him to place certain satellites or whatever here to cover a lot of the areas. Um, but outside of that, I mean, you just gotta ask around and find which service works best in your area. And if that's still bad, then I guess that's what it is. But there are a lot of, different companies. You got MTN, Tigo, Vodafone, you know, a lot of different companies that you can try out. And also the type of service that you purchase, that too can make a difference. So yeah, there are ways around. You just I don't know what her situation actually is, so where she lives or what type of internet she has. So I can't speak much on that.
you're dealing with the fact that everybody feels like Africans are scammers. So a lot of websites you cannot visit. A lot of business you cannot handle because people assume that you're scamming. Even trying to send money is very, very difficult. Um, so many things are, so many things come into.
I don't know what she's talking about. Sending money to me, it's not it's not like in the States where I just go in my bank and transfer it to another bank. Obviously, you're sending to another country, right? So it's like a wire transfer. With my bank, you have to fill out a form, which is, with both forms I got to fill out. It would take me less than a minute to fill out, send it to them, through email, and they'll process it. I just got to stay on them and make sure they process it the same day or the next day. Um, you know, That comes back to those relationships. If you have a relationship with a bank manager, you can call them direct. Hey, I just sent you, you guys a form. Can you make sure your assistants process it for me ASAP? And they'll be right on it. Make sure it's done for you. You know, phone calls. The connection problem can be a problem if you don't have good reception wherever you're at. You're gonna have a lot of connecting. When you're going through your WhatsApp phone call, she's probably talking about using WhatsApp. But just the regular line, also you can face those issues. Those ones will usually just hang up if the connection is bad. You can also have a landline used, but it costs a lot of money. So, like I said, there's ways around. You just got to know how to maneuver.
When you talk about quality of life for your children, let's talk about the schools. You want a private school for your child because you don't want your child to go to just no Ricky Dink community school or whatever. School gonna cost you. They gonna bust your head. You got more than one child, you gonna feel it. Like the school across the street from my house costs $400 every 3 months. So it's $400 every 3 months. That's a term, and then you have to pay for uh, a fee to get in there. You got to pay for uniforms. You got to pay for books. You got to pay for this, that, and the third. So to enroll a child can cost you anywhere from $500-$600, and we talking about each child. So it goes up the more children you have. So the schools are very expensive. Africa is not cheap.
Well, on that note, yeah, I would say Africa is not cheap, depending on the lifestyle that you want to live, right? Um, the was talking about the schools. Imagine living in the States and taking your kids to private schools. It's not going to be cheap. You have to pay. It's not like the government, schools that, we go to high school for free, middle school for free. Um, even some colleges, you might even be able to go for free. Um, in Africa or in Ghana specifically, if you want a certain service, you have to pay for it. And if you don't want your kids to go to the government school, which, kids go to government school, but obviously, when anyone comes from the Western world, they don't want their kids to go to the government school. Even the locals, the ones that are a little bit well off, they don't want their kids going to government schools. So you have to pay for private school, just as you have to pay in America. All right. So um, it will cost you. It will cost you. I mean, childcare. Let's talk about childcare in America. You're paying $400 a month, $300 a month, depending on where you're taking your kids to. So just compare that to what she's saying. She's paying $600, $400, whatever the case is, every 3 months. $400 every 3 months. I mean, that's cheaper than childcare in America. But I get her point. It's not cheap if you are not making dollars. The locals still do it, but yeah, it's all based on the lifestyle that you want to live. If you have kids and you want to come and you don't have a job and you're thinking that your $20,000 that you have saved up is going to last you a lifetime moving to Ghana, it can last you a very long time if you're by yourself, living like a very normal, average local, paying very, very minimal rent on a one-bedroom apartment, eating like all the locals do, spending 20 cities, 30 cities, up to 50 cities a day, which is like $2, $3, a day on food, then yes, your $20,000 will last you a very long time. But if you want to come in with like 4 kids, you want to put them in private schools, you want to live in a 4 bedroom, 4 bath house with a swimming pool, with a security guard, with a house help. Well, you're asking for a lot. If you really do all of that in America, how much money do you think you're going to be spending? Crazy amount of money to have security guard and a house help and all these luxurious things that the rich are the ones that get to experience it in America. You can experience it for much cheaper in Ghana, but it's not gonna be dirt cheap, you know. So you just kind of have to process what she's saying. If you just take in what she's saying and just that's the end of it, don't really think through what she's saying, then you're gonna be turned off from making the move. But at the end of the day, you have to be sharp. You have to be able to analyze what she's saying, and more than likely get somebody to really explain it for you if you can't really comprehend. Because she's just throwing stuff out there. It's almost like just going off and just ranting about stuff. But you have to be able to decipher what she's saying.
Ghana definitely ain't cheap, and it ain't for the weak. Believe me, honey. So I just wanted to say that because a lot of people call me, a lot of people hit me up and be like, I want to move to Africa. And I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to tell you, oh, come on over here. It's you live your best life. I will be lying. I will be lying. I will be lying. I will be lying. And I'm not going to do that to you. I'm going to tell you how it is after the video, after you've heard everything and you know everything there is to know about living abroad, specifically in Ghana. You make the call whether you want to do it or not. Because you might still say, well, I like it. Maybe I like partying.
Which is still good. I mean, I like the fact that she wants to tell fans for what they are, but I I wouldn't take what she's saying for what they are. There's some truth to it, but she's reaching hardcore. All right. So I guess on this note, I would say always get a second perspective, or third, or fourth. All right. Don't just go based on one person's view. Get several. It probably costs you because you have to pay for each individual. I'm sure she probably charges people like, you know, I don't know, I don't want to make up any number, but I'm sure she charges people to do consultation. So if you just take her information, you say, oh, that's the end of it. I don't want to go to Ghana. All she said was negative stuff. I don't want anything to do with Ghana. Then you could be losing out. Whether it's you're calling to be over here, whether it's for business opportunities, whatever the case might be, the reason why you wanted to move to Ghana, you'll be losing out on it because you just took her perspective and said that was it. So I would always suggest that you talk to multiple people and find out if where things align or where they all have common um, information being shared.
The partying gets old. You can party. You can't party with so much. You party like maybe a week, 2 weeks, and you're like, okay, I'm all party out. You party for the day.
And I also wanted to put in there, like, think of it as talking to someone in business. You'd have someone that will tell you, oh, don't go into business, or let's say restaurant business. You lose a lot of money, food, you cook food, and if no one buys, it all goes to waste and all your money is gone. You lose a lot, and you can have someone that will tell you, oh, listen, you got to go through it this way and that way to save money. You got to, so everyone has how things make sense to them. If you're just taking one perspective, you may never invest, start your own business, or do anything outside of your comfort zone. There are always going to be people that will encourage you to jump out of your comfort zone and do something different, which may turn out to be the best decision you ever made or the worst decision you ever made. So, based on everyone's experience and perspective of things, that's the input that they will give you. But hers, some stuff she's saying is true, although a lot of it is over exaggerated.
And you're like, okay, December is gone. Let's get to the regular program. And regular program was like,
Yeah. So again, I think it's very funny, but as far as I'll take her when it comes to being serious. you'll get a few pointers from her that is legit, but outside of that, I'm just gonna say, take it with a grain of salt. If not, you're probably gonna miss your opportunity to do something good.
It's not easy. It's not easy every day. You can very well easily go in depression. Easily. Um,
I don't know what she's doing.
it takes a lot of strength. It takes a lot of convincing.
Actually, you know what? I get what she's saying. If you are so consumed with what the West has fed you, you've really never had to think for yourself. Everything is provided for you. Electricity is always working. Water is always working. All the convenience of life. You don't even have to leave your house to get food. Everything can be delivered to you. All the comforts of life you can enjoy over here. If you're so accustomed to it and you can't think outside of that, you probably fall into depression because you have to navigate differently in Ghana, right? Um, Not everything can be dropped off at your door front for you to have. Not all the things that you need. Internet may not be as fast as you want it to be. So maybe you're trying to watch a movie and it keeps buffering or whatever at some point. So all of these things that you may find inconveniences would always present itself to you depending, but it all depends on your mindset and what you really want out of your experience. And if you are mentally prepared for a lot of these things, or you don't care about a lot of the convenience over here in America, but you just want your freedom as far as building your own house, having your own off-grid property with your own water, your own electricity, or whatnot, then that's the place that you can enjoy all of that for a fraction of the price. You know, but at the end of the day, um, if you're not prepared and you're not prepared to let go of the things of the West and really embrace what Ghana has to offer, and take advantage of that, then yeah, more than likely might fall into depression. I guess, yeah, because power can go out anytime, and if you don't have a backup, well, now you have to wait. However long it takes for it to come back. Water can go out, same deal. You have to wait however long it takes for it to come back. So there's a lot of inconveniences that you might face, but there's alternatives to get around those things and still live the life that you want to live.
You got a lot of. You gotta have the tenacity. You gotta have the 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 courage to keep going. You have to fight through the adversities. You have to fight through all the problems and the struggles that you're gonna go through, and you gotta understand it that it's not gonna change, and you gotta ask yourself, is it worth it? And one thing I did forget to talk about is the food. Well,
So before she gets on the food, I agree. There is a lot that you would have to work through. Like you said in the beginning, some people come with their rose-colored glasses on, and everything is la la. You're in la la land. You're not facing the realities. You have to pay attention to what's going on around you. You have to pay attention to how people move, how people relate to you. You're not going to a fantasy world. This is a real world where people live, where people act like people. So you have to pay attention to, you know, everything that's going on over there and how it fits, and what you want. But if you're just there on vacation mode, vacation ends at some point, and so reality will slap you in the face at some point, and you have to be prepared for that. All right, so just be sharp in how you navigate and how you think. Get out of that vacation mentality because you're trying to move and live in this place. So you have to really pay attention to what's going on and not let the overexcitement of being over there, overshadow everything else. Just pay attention. All right.
I did run over the fact that food is expensive. Buying food, a case of ginger ale 36 cans of ginger ale gonna cost you like $50, $60. So you're not getting food for cheap.
Oh, yeah.
Anything that was imported from America is going to cost you way more than America can charge you.
Nah, says you doing too much. Way too much, girl. $60 for a pack of ginger ale. Where are you shopping at? Cap. I maybe she meant 60 cities. Maybe.
Um, the only food that's really cheap is the food you buy on the street. And do you really want the people putting their hands on your food and they got dirty fingers and wiping their, digging up their nose and scratching their ass?
Come, sis, really? People don't dig their nose in America. But you see, this is what I'm saying. She's just doing too much. In the street food, everywhere you go in the world, you're gonna see something that you might not like, right? But again, there are some people that don't care, I guess. Um, but pay attention to where you buy your food. If you see there's a lot of uncleanness going on, then don't buy over there. Cook your own food. And that's not the only place that you can get cheap food. You can cook your own food. Unless you want to be buying food all the time from outside, then yes, that would even cost you more money. But you can buy your own ingredients from the marketplaces and cook your own food. And that's even the best way to go because you know exactly what's going inside your food. None of those Chinese cubes or whatever that makes food sweet and tasty will be put in your food. You know exactly what it is. All the ingredients are available for you to cook food how you want to cook it, right? And then you can buy your fruits and whatever off the street stands and go home, wash it, and eat it. It's just that simple. But yeah, she's doing too much.
And they give you some steak and say, here's some onions and peppers and stuff, and put their hands on it and then use gloves. And then you mess around and go home and get a staph infection, some type of infection. Not to mention, you got all these different types of illnesses and you got mosquitoes biting.
Mind you, she's in Africa, so I'm guessing if she was having all these things, she would be in her deathbed right now, right? But again, she's just doing way too much. I mean, come on.
Giving you malaria and malaria from malaria. Yes. So that's something to worry about. And so you gotta make sure you have cream on you every time you step out the door, just so the mosquitoes won't bite you.
I lived in America for 20 years, and then I went back. I don't even think, yeah, when I went to stay, I didn't take my malaria pills. I went with my wife and my kids. No one has malaria. No one has died. Again, pay attention to your surroundings. If you feel like you're going to be in an area where there's a lot of mosquitoes or whatnot, I've been bit by mosquitoes plenty of times while I was there. You go out at night, mosquitoes are out at night. So they're going to get you. But all the same, I didn't get sick from it. Not to say you will not get sick from it. You can get sick from it. But they're pills. They're I don't really I guess forget vaccines. But they're pills you can take. And if you do feel feverish, they're medicine that you can take. But to say she's making it sound like you just one mosquito bites you and you're dead the next day, I guess.
And you won't really take it serious until you get a scare. And somebody in your family that's close to you, like my child, had malaria twice. Once you get a scare like that, and your child almost lose their life, then you will figure it out. Like, I really need to put this cream on because I'm not from here. They not gonna just come past me and say.
So yeah, sorry about your kids getting sick, but like I said, you have to have certain things in place. There are medicines you can take. She probably didn't know when you move to Ghana, you could take it at least. It's like a 7-day pill that you take one every day or maybe twice every day for 7 days, and that basically gives you what your body needs to be able to fight um, whatever the mosquito puts in you that makes you sick. So they're I don't know. It just sounds to me. I don't want to be insensitive, but you got to take the proper steps to make sure that you are covered. You know.
She's good. No, they're gonna tear that ass up. So that's one thing you need to know. And as far as you going to the store and eating out is very expensive. You can go eat out at a nice restaurant and pay $200-300 easily. Easily.
I don't know what she's eating. That's almost 5,000 cities. I have never spent anything close to that eating out in Ghana. I take I went out myself with my wife, with my two boys, with my mother-in-law and my father-in-law. 6 people. We spent less than 1,000 cities. Everyone got food. We got desserts. We got drinks. That's less than $100. I think we spent about 750 or 800 cities. So you're looking at what, 80, $90? Not even. No, far from that. Far from that. So I don't know what she's talking about.
Nice restaurant. The only time that you can eat real cheap is when it's their food and you might eat at a hole in the wall. That'll be cheap. You can pay like $20, $30 to eat at a hole in the wall. Something like that. Um, as far as the food, you don't have too much variety. You don't have a variety of food. So
Yeah, so that was $55 from the calculations that I did. Um, but if I'm guessing she's going to these restaurants and trying to eat American food, meaning you're probably gonna go somewhere that is charging you as a tourist because the local Ghanaian is not going to go look for American food, right? So if you want to live in Ghana but eat like you're in America, then you will pay American prices because some of these ingredients are not even in Ghana. So they will have to import them, in order to get the ingredients they need to make the food that you want to eat. So it's a luxury item. The food that you're getting is luxury. That is not regular. So think of it as being in the United States and looking for a food by Ethiopians or whatever. You have to go to a specific area to get that kind of food. And if it's a fancy area, you're gonna pay a fancy price. Luckily for us in America, because it's a melting pot with all kinds of people from all around the world, we don't necessarily have to spend a lot of money, but all the same, every other country you go to is not like America. It's different. And so if you want American food, then you're going to pay more than likely American prices. And if you want a lot of it, then you pay a lot of dollars for it. That's all I have to say on that one.
what do you eat? My caretaker, she feeds me rice every day, and I keep telling her rice turns to starch. Rice turns to sugar in your bloodstream. It's starch. I'm going to mess around and have diabetes. And then I went to the doctor, and they said I got diabetes, and my blood pressure, my sugar was 130, and I was like, then I knew that was going to happen. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. But
You ate it. Oh man, she's too funny, man. A lot of the stuff that she's mentioning as far as things happening to her, it seems to me like it's her mistakes, at least. Because if you know that you have that problem, that you're gonna have diabetes because you're already at the borderline or whatever the situation might be, you eat stuff that is going to get you to that level. You want you have a Ghanaian household that cooks food for you. You probably can't afford that in America. And that's a fact for most people. Can't afford that in America. Who can afford to have a chef in America that can take care of your home, cook you your food, watch your kids, wash your clothes, all these things for you? No, that's for the super rich in America. But you are enjoying that in Ghana. You're not talking about how great that is. You're just talking about how she's cooking you rice every day, but you're not talking about the convenience of how of what you have and how it's helping you save time and do things that you actually want to do while somebody else that you're paying is taking care of all the things you don't want to do. At the end of the day, if you want her to cook American food, you would have to teach her how to cook it because she probably has no clue what you're talking about. So again, if you want something different, you have to teach the person how to do it. There's ways around all of these things that she's talking about.
The plan is not to be here forever. Yes, it's nice. It's good for content when you want to come get your content and go. But staying here, making it a life, making it something worth having, no, it's not a good thing. Investment wise, if you want to come here and invest and get you a house so that you can have it for later, maybe that would be a good investment because everything keeps going up, 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 up. So if you can get something at a price that is now in 2025, by 2030, that house that you got for 200,000 will be 600, 700,000. So when it comes to the housing market, invest in something now. Maybe you can invest in an apartment building and rent out apartments because people will always still come and people will always still.
But you see, the hypocrisy. See what she said. If you want to invest in a house that's like maybe $200,000 now, 5 years from now, you could be selling it for 500, $700,000, whatever that number is. Think of that in America. How does that is that a reality? Unless there is crazy inflation, your house is not gonna double, triple in price within a 5 year time. You get it. But all the same, she was complaining about how it's expensive to buy homes in Ghana, not talking about how she plans to make money off of it. Other people making money off of it. Other African Americans and people from different countries, whites, blacks, Indians, Chinese, they're all coming. They're all building homes. Why? Because they know that the prices is just constantly going up because people from their own countries are coming in and looking for homes to buy and they're selling it to them. So in other ways, the foreigners are the ones driving up the cost of the homes. The locals are doing it too because they see that hey, I could make money doing the same thing the foreigners are doing. Most of them are just watching what is happening in other countries and trying to copy it. In Africa, I always say we are behind in time. We are always everything that happens in the West, we are like behind in time. So always we are catching up to whatever is happening in the West. So people see that okay, you build homes, wait a few years, sell it for twice the amount, and that's what she's talking about here. Invest 200,000, make 700,000 from it. 5 years from now. Now somebody else is gonna come 5 years from now and be like, "Why are they selling homes for 700,000, 500,000?" Well, sister over here wanted to make a profit, so she's selling it for 500. She's selling it for $700,000 now. So we are our own worst enemies, I guess, in a way, when it comes to the real estate market in Ghana, because we build the homes and everyone wants to make a good amount of money return from their money, that was invested, and it's just going downhill from there. Material cost is crazy, constantly going up. So I understand why people want to make more money because if you don't price it right and you try to, after you've sold it, you try to build the same thing again, your money might not even be enough to rebuild the same building you just sold. So that is a factor in there as far as why prices are constantly going up. All right, things are always going up, and the prices never come back down. Um, I don't think it's going to end well, but obviously the ones that got in the game first are going to make off on it, make big money from it. But the ones that come in the end are always going to end up holding the bag. So yeah.
Here. So if you want to make some money, you can definitely make money off people's ignorance. Um, as far as invested in a business, sometimes businesses work, sometimes it don't. That's anywhere you go, but definitely in Africa because you have a lot of extortion. You have a lot of uh, the government trying to tax you. People trying to extort you for money. People stealing from your business. The workers not doing right, making your business go down the drain. That you got to worry about. So you got to ask yourself, is it worth it? So for people who want to,
Yeah, so as you mentioned, it happens everywhere in the world. There are risks to every business venture that you take, right? Um, don't let that scare you. All right, you have to do it. But one advice that I would give is when you do, make sure you're paying attention. Make sure you're there to supervise. And if you're not there, a trusted person, possibly someone with the same understanding, with the same background as you, to watch over it for you because they know the struggle. Coming from the West, saving up all this money to try to do something in Africa just for someone to not pay attention and drive your business to the ground. It's not a fun thing to go through. So always make sure that, and the people too that you hire, people that are qualified, people that, and if they haven't even done the job before, people that can comprehend what it is that you're trying to teach them, so they can actually work, do the work the way you want them to do it. Keep all of that in mind, because it's going to be beneficial. If a lot of people give jobs to people that have no clue or no interest, they just want a job, and those people are the ones that will kill your business for you because they don't care. They just want a job, and they don't have the good work ethics to help you grow your business as well. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done. You can't just go in and think it's going to happen for you. It's a business. There's risk. There's pros. There's cons. And at the end of the day, you have to make sure that you are taking care of your business, paying attention to what's going on. This way, the business does not fail. Right?
if I want to move to Ghana, and people always tell me, say something nice about it. Say something nice so we can know. Um, everybody is saying nice stuff about Ghana. Everybody, when you go online, everybody like, I'm moving to Ghana. I want to live in Ghana. Y'all need to see what's on my sofa. I got a lot of mess on my sofa, honey, because I got stuff to do. So people be like, "Oh, I want to live in Ghana. I heard Ghana was nice. I want to move to Ghana, 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 Ghana." If you notice, everybody in 2020, or let's say 2019, 2020 movement, the diaspora was coming back here. And then some people said leave, and some people come still here, coming back. You can count on your fingers how many of those people are still here. And then some people said leave, and some people come back again.
A lot of those people, those that are going back, one, they did not do their research, or their expectation of how things would be like. It wasn't met, right? Um, a lot of people, I always say a lot of people are called, but only a few are chosen, right? Because a lot of people would move based on trend, what is happening. A lot of people saying good things, so I want to go over there too. I can live for cheap, whatever. But then they get there and they don't have a plan to how they're going to be able to sustain their lifetime, their lifestyle over there. So they just jump, get over there and realize, man, if I want to live like maintain the same lifestyle that I had in America, it's too expensive. I can't do this. And then they go back. A lot of people too um, just can't deal with the hustle and bustle, they say. Getting through traffic, having to jump on a motorcycle, to navigate traffic faster. The number of people driving around you on the road, how chaotic it can be. Um, all of these things that Ghana would throw at you, if you're not settled and ready to really take on the horns of Ghana and just wrestle it until you conquer it and find your spot in it, then you're gonna run because it's nothing compared to America. You're gonna see everything. It'll feel like everything is different. So yeah, that's why people say you have to visit and live there for a while before you make that decision to move. Because if you're not prepared, um, you might just see all the negative stuff until you move back to the States and start rethinking and then realize, you know what, I did it wrong. Let me do it again. I think I actually like Ghana, but I went in there with the wrong mentality, with the wrong, I had no plan whatsoever, or whatever strategic plan I had was bad you know. So you just have to think through all those stuff and get help. Talk to people. Contact me for consultation. I'll give you whatever information you need. Contact whoever else you want to contact for consultation, so that you can get that information to ease you into when you move in. Like, okay, I was expecting this. I was expecting that, and whatnot. And it will help you with your transition.
People get broke and they go back home, make money, come back again. Okay, cool. But count on your finger how many people are still living here. You see them come and you see them go. You see new ones come, but all the old ones, they pretty much are gone. They pretty much are gone because they get it now. They tried as long as they could, and it was like, I can't do it no more. Like, how much can you take? You gotta be very strong to take this. It's a lot. It's not easy, yo. It's a lot. And when you figure all that out,
It is
then
tough,
you
though.
ask yourself,
But one thing I do want to say is, when you move to Ghana, you'll find there's some peace that will come over you once you get to Ghana. A lot of people express that peace right at the airport. I worked in the States, like I said, for many years. I wasn't stressed at all. I was making good money. I was living a very comfortable life. Um, but whenever I get to Ghana, I will feel this sense of peace come over me where I'm like super relaxed, and I'm a very chill person to begin with, but I would feel so different, and a lot of people express the same feeling. And I think it's really the grace of, Yah that comes over you when you're there. Ghana is blessed. Ghana is a very blessed country. But that's not to say that things are going to come easy. You still have to navigate, the daily hustle and bustle of being in Ghana. But overall, there is a lot of peace over there. You just have to know how to navigate, get the help you need.
is do what makes you happy, brown skin girl. If moving across the country, moving abroad gonna make you happy, then to each his own. Whatever floats your boat, you like it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Yes, and I will support you on it. But I'm not going to lie to you. If you want people who's going to lie to you, you want people who are sugarcoated, go over to their channel. Don't come over here because you want to hear the truth and nothing but the truth. So help me
Our
God.
channel.
And I'm not going to lie, it's a lot of people. I mean, this alarming numbers are passing away in Africa. And it's
It's a
not
few.
by
I want to say
coincidence.
it's a few people recently.